Hi, welcome back. In this video, we are going to be learning just about the bones. And so I brought my friendly little tiny skeleton here with me to kind of help illustrate this, although you do have close-up pictures of the bones on the screen. So we're not going to learn all the bones, but we're going to learn the major bones, excluding the bones of the skull and the spine. So the first bone is right here, and this is your clavicle, also known as your collarbone. As you can see, it's got a slight S-shaped curve to it. And the second bone is also one that has a common name, your shoulder blade. And this is on the back side of the skeleton, and that is your scapula. And so scapula and clavicle for the collarbone and the shoulder blade. Continuing in the upper extremity, next we have the bone between the shoulder and the elbow, and it is called the humerus. And then between the wrist and the elbow, we have two bones which are parallel to each other. Okay. The one that is on the pinky side is the skinnier bone, and it is the ulna. Whereas on the thumb side, this is the thumb over there, this bone would be the radius. Okay. So humerus, radius on the thumb side, just think you're hitchhiking your thumb, it's rad, you're sticking it out, thumbs up, things are cool, radius is rad, okay? And then on the pinky side, the ulna. In the wrist area and the hand area, they're often one big model where everything's wired together because we have a lot of bones there. We have we have more than that. We have 19 bones in the hand, and we have 8 wrist bones. So the 8 wrist bones together as a group are known as the carpal bones. Yes, each one of them has a different name, but as the group, they're known as the carpal bones. Then continuing on to the palm area of your hand, we consider the thumb to be the first digit, second digit, third digit, fourth digit, and the pinky to be the 5th digit. And we use Roman numerals 1 through 5 for that. So in the palm, we have 5 metacarpal bones. So we would call them metacarpal 1, metacarpal 2, metacarpal 3, metacarpal 4, metacarpal 5. So this is the time to start doing some surface anatomy with your 5 metacarpals as well. Then we have 14 bones in the 5 digits, which is not divisible by 5. That would require 15 bones. So what that means is that one digit is only going to have 2 bones, whereas the other 4 are each going to have 3 bones. And all of these bones are called phalanges. Now notice that is the plural. So the individual single form is phalanx. So you need to learn how to spell phalanx with the A-N-X, because that's going to be the answer to your quiz question. When it says identify the bone, you need to use the singular form. So we have 14 phalanges. And so if we go and we look, for instance, at a finger that has 3 of them, you can tell it has 3 because we've got 2 joints going there. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So using our terminology, the one closest to the metacarpal would be the proximal one, and this would be the distal one, and then that one there is in the middle. And so that's how we name them, where we are each one of the 5 digits is going to have a proximal phalanx, okay? But only digits 2 through 5 are going to have middle phalanges. So when you look at your thumb, it does not have 3 bones because this bone is a metacarpal. It's one of your palm bones, okay? So it only is going to have a proximal and a distal phalanx, whereas these other ones are going to have 3 bones. Okay. So 5 distal phalanges. So for instance, if the arrow was pointing at this bone right here, you would write proximal phalanx number 3 to get full credit. All right, so now we are done with the upper extremity and we are going to move a little bit lower. So let me bring this guy up here. And we have what you may call a hip bone. Okay. But a hip bone is not one bone. The entire thing together is called a coxal bone, or in Latin, the os coxa. But to look here at the picture in the middle, what you will notice that it's actually 3 bones, a blue one, a pink one, and a yellow one, that have fused together. So when you were born, this is actually 3 separate bones. The first bone, if you put your hands on your hips, you're sitting with some attitude, you put your hands on your hips like this, that bone right here, that is called the ilium. And notice ilium only has 1 L. I point this out because so many anatomy students put 2 L's in it. Do that on homework, it will be marked wrong. So ilium with 1 L, that's this bone. The next bone, we are going to go anteriorly, right here, close to the midline, like underneath where your pubic hair is. Well, it's called pubic hair because this is the pubic bone known as the pubis. And then the third bone, this big part back here that you're sitting on, that is your ischium. All right. Continuing on, in your thigh, you have the longest bone in your body, super heavy in comparison to the others, and that is known as the femur, and that's because it holds all that body weight coming down. And then below your knee, you're going to have 2 bones that are parallel again. And notice we have a thick one and a thin one. And the 2 words for these bones are all or nothing for spelling. In other words, you have to spell them correctly to get any credit. Oh, but I missed here in the knee, we have an extra little bone. Your kneecap, which is known as the patella. My apologies for skipping the patella. All right, so going down into your leg, the big bone, the one that is on the big toe side, is known as the tibia, whereas the skinny bone on the pinky toe side is known as the fibula. Then we have ankle bones. So in the wrist, we had 8 wrist bones. In the ankle, we have 7 ankle bones, and they are collectively known as tarsal bones. So carpal bones in the wrist, tarsal bones in the ankle. Now we are going to learn the names of 2 of these tarsal bones. The first one is the heel bone, and that is called the calcaneus. And the other one we are going to learn is the one between the tibia and the calcaneus, the little bone that is sitting on in between those 2, and that is the talus, okay? So when we look at this picture on the right, this is your tibia and there's your fibula. The tibia is carrying all your body weight, which goes onto the talus, which then distributes it, to the calcaneus back here. We'll talk about that in the lecture. All right, in the mid part of your foot, you have metatarsal bones, 1 through 5, just like we had metacarpals, we have metatarsals, the big toe side being the number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have 14 phalanges again, where we have 5 proximal phalanges, 4 middle phalanges, and 5 distal phalanges. We are almost done. The last place I want to go to is up here in the anterior chest, where we are talking about your breastbone. And the also known as the sternum. And the sternum in the adult is usually 3 separate bones, okay? There are many bones and they fuse together as you age. So the uppermost portion is known as the manubrium of the sternum. The middle portion, which accounts for most of it, is the body of the sternum, the part highlighted in tan. And the little pointy part down below is known as the xiphoid process of the sternum. It has a Z sound, but it's spelled with an XI. And with that, we are done with just bones. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I will see you again soon. When we come back again for our next class, we will be discussing these bones in a lot more detail and looking at some of their bony landmarks. So it's super important to learn these bones today. Thank you. See you soon.